Spiral up, spiral up with energy.
So, what did you do and how long did it take for you to be cured of cancer through cannabinoid oil?
I started taking the oil about 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it for 3 months.
How much did you take a day?
A drop.
How big of a drop?
The size of a rice grain is the way that Rick Simpson says. He says, if you will take an amount the size of a rice grain.
Minuscule amount.
It's a minuscule amount, but it's a one-trick pony. It does one job and it kills cancer, and it just doesn't need to do anything else. So a small amount, you know, a little drop will do you.
Could you overdose on it and hurt yourself?
As far as I know, nobody has ever died from cannabis. It's a completely safe product. And if you take too much so that you get too sleepy, you just sleep through it. And you wake up and you're refreshed and everything is normal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you said there are no side effects other than feeling a little sleepy from
That was the only side effect that I felt.
the cannabinoid oil.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from the scientific perspective, can you explain to the average listener, maybe in layman's terms, so that the average non-scientist can understand the scientific proof of how cannabinoid oil works on a cancer cell?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. First, let me talk about the normal system, the normal immune system, how it works against cancer. Normally, the immune system, we make cancer cells all the time, you know, just when the DNA goes haywire, you get an out-of-control cell. And if it aggregates, then it forms a tumor. But it starts off as a single cell with an aberrant DNA. Well, the immune system knows about this. And what it does is the endocannabinoid system, which is part of the immune system, goes to work on it. Now, an interesting thing about cancer cells is that when a cell goes cancerous, then an increase in the number of receptors for cannabinoids increases in the cell. So when the body's own immune system senses this, then the endocannabinoid that the body uses is called anandamide. And anandamide mates with these receptors and stimulates the production of a chemical called ceramide. And ceramide is like the SEAL team. It goes in and kills the target.
Wow.
And the way that it does this is very technical, and I'm not going to go into it, but...
What's the smart bomb idea? I remember you said it sort of acts like a smart bomb on the cancer cell.
Well, when ceramide is produced in the cancer cell, that it kills off the mitochondria, which produces energy for the cell. So once the mitochondria is dead, then the cell can no longer survive.
Amazing.
All right. Now, when the immune system becomes overstressed through illness or injury or stress, then it gets behind on killing cancer cells.
It's weakened. It's compromised.
Yeah, it's compromised. It's weakened. And it doesn't take much to get behind on killing cancer cells. So, if you develop a tumor and all of these cancer cells, then you take a cannabinoid supplement. Then these cannabinoids go and in the circulation and mate with these receptors of the cancer cells, which produces a flood of ceramide. Now, because the DNA of cancer cells is distorted, it's damaged, the ceramide senses this and knows that this cell is dying. And the job of ceramide in the normal body is to kill damaged and dying cells. So it senses that the cancer cell is abnormal.
It's like a scavenger.
That's what it is, yeah.
Like in the ocean, they have scavengers that clean it up, or vultures in the earth, you know, that clean up the...
Well, the cancer cell, it seems like, knows that it's abnormal and knows that it needs to die. And so that's why this increase in number of receptors on the cancer cell. So when the additional cannabinoids reach the cancer cell, it locks into it, sends the ceramide out to destroy the mitochondria, which starves the cell to get together. So
amazing.
it is an amazing process, and there's a lot of science on this pathway. There are a lot of researchers that are working on this in Europe. Not so
What
much.
countries in Europe would you say most? Germany or?
Well, Italy, I see a lot of publications coming from Italy, and several other countries are doing a lot of research on this. And fortunately, a lot of the scientific articles have been translated into English.
Marvelous.
So there is a huge...
Well, we need to get rolling here, right? We need to get on the bandwagon here too in the United States. We need to wake up, be awakened to this.
That would be good to put...
People are suffering from cancer for years. My great-grandmother died of cancer. And I would imagine that most families know of a family member that has died of cancer.
Well, for 3 months, I took my daily dose of 1 drop.
It took 3 months to get rid of your cancer?
Well, in 3 months, I went back for my next exam. And they found that the prostate had reduced in size by almost half. So the urologist told me, he said, the tumor is gone. And this is really stunning that in 3 months, the aggressive metastasizing tumor was gone.
And you had no radiation?
No radiation.
No chemo?
No chemo, no surgery. But I did have another exam, an independent exam, just to make sure. And that doctor found that there was still tumor cells. And so I continued the course, and these are metastatic lesions that had not been killed yet. So I stayed on it for 3 more months. So the total course was 6 months. And then the biopsy result after 6 months was completely clear of cancer.
So it really took you 6 months to be cured of prostate cancer. What stage cancer were you
Stage
when
4.
you started? Well, it's very advanced.
It is very advanced, and it was very aggressive.
Weren't you told by a doctor that you may not be with us much longer if you didn't start treatment of some kind of treatment? I think he wanted to do, what, radiation? And cautioned you that you may not be living after, what, 6 or 8 weeks if you didn't start something soon?
He was a little nervous about it, but I didn't hold him responsible. And if my herbal therapy did not do what we wanted, then we could still go and do the other treatments.
But you did not elect to do both at the same time.
That's correct.
Would you recommend to our viewers that is there any complication in doing radiation or chemo at the same time that you're incorporating the cannabinoid oil in your cancer healing challenge?
Not at all. There's a large number of articles about people who also had adjunct treatments of chemotherapy and radiation and surgery, and they were doing this cannabinoids as well.
So you can incorporate it into...
Yeah, it can be part of the treatment plan if you want to do that. But I didn't see any reason to do that for myself. And I can only talk about myself. I
Right.
wouldn't recommend any particular course to anybody. But all I can do is report.
Well, I'll
what
tell
I
you,
did.
if somebody told me I had cancer, I'd be doing everything and anything I could think of, to try to get rid of it. Meditation, diet, maybe I'd do chemo and radiation and at the
I was
same
gonna do
time
that
as
too.
the cannabinoid oil. Because,
Well,
if
that's
you
fine.
get a doctor telling you that you have cancer and that they might say to you, because right now my son-in-law is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and they gave him 6 to 8 weeks to live with chemo. That means he's going to die even after 8 weeks of chemo. I said, what's that?
Yeah.
So he's outside the box right now going to a clinic in Reno, Dr. Forsythe's clinic, Century Wellness, and 3 months later, he's still living and he's stronger. And now he's going to start the cannabinoid oil. But, well, we could just continue and continue and continue on this, but this is revolutionary. And if people want to suffer and they want to take the hard road, they can. But if they want to try an alternative route, they have a choice. No matter what kind of cancer you have.
Right.
You have another choice, and it's pain-free, no side effects. The cannabinoid oil only targets the cancer cell.
That's correct.
It does not weaken the immune system. If anything, it sounds like it supports it.
It does. It is an immune system support simply because the endocannabinoid system is already set up. The cannabinoids and the body's own anandamide are the same. They act on these receptors. So when the amount that you get from the body is not enough, you can supplement it with its counterpart from the cannabinoids.
Marvelous.
It is marvelous.
And thank you so much for your testimony and
You're
your
welcome.
time, and you're a humanitarian. You're coming forward, standing in your truth. And I know it's because you're a highly spiritual person and you have a tremendous love for God and creation and the earth. And we are extremely grateful to the earth, aren't we, for cannabinoid oil.
To be sure.
Dennis, for our viewers, can you recommend a website that they can go to obtain more information on cannabinoid oil?
Yes, I've put up a website that tells this story that also has an extensive bibliography of references that you can go to find all the information that you need on this treatment. And I think that you can see this website on the screen.
Thank you. Bless you for sharing this with the world. And I think it was you that said to me, if you want to be pain-free and you want to be happy, you need to give this your serious consideration if you have cancer.
That's true. This was a very non-traumatic, very easy way to go through curing cancer.
Thank you. Bless you, dear.
You're welcome, Ava. It's so great to be here and get to tell this story with you. I appreciate it.
It's going to help a lot of people.
I
Thank
hope so.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being with us today. Spiral Up with Ava Marie is about raising consciousness to the all good and having compassion for ourselves, healing ourselves, compassion for the earth and each other. I hope that you spiral up in your life.
Spiral